This is the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport here on the Autogefühl from the LA Auto Show. And you might ask yourself, meanwhile, like every SUV has the right to have an SUV coupe version. Well, the Atlas now comes with one as well, a little bit cut off. What else is different? We'll talk all about design, exterior, and of course also the interior features here in our special exterior interior static review from the Motor Show. Let's go. The Volkswagen Atlas is meant for the US market and it's also built in the US in Tennessee. And Atlas and the new Atlas Cross Sport, they look pretty similar as for the front grille, pretty strong stance, rectangular design. But again, the daytime running light is a little bit different from the signature right here. And this one also comes with this new VW IQ light. This is their new brand name for their more elaborate LED headlamps. So the Atlas Cross Sport is a little bit flatter and also a little bit shorter. So 4 meters 97 instead of 5 meters 04 or 196 inches instead of 198 inches. But that's more about the overhang. It has nothing to do with the wheelbase. The wheelbase from the Atlas Cross Sport and the Atlas is absolutely the same. At the moment there are 20-inch wheels mounted. In the R line it goes even up to 21 inch. That's of course pretty huge for such a vehicle then. And here you got a Cross Sport badge. And of course the main difference next to the standard rather rectangular wheel arches here also. The main difference then is here that we have a rather falling roofline, and where the normal Atlas, is a little bit more upright, and here also from the window graphic, this looks a little bit sleeker, a little bit more elegant. And I actually think, that's quite well done. It looks indeed a little bit sportier, and I mean, it still offers a lot of space on the interior. We'll soon experience that one together. But overall, I think it works very well. And to me, the most important thing about the Atlas is it's not a super expensive car. So we know a lot of big premium SUVs and so on. But this one is actually one that has a decent size already, but it's not super high in the price. That's what's making this vehicle, to me, actually that interesting. Well, what's your take? In the rear, the Atlas Cross Sport has a flatter rear window, and also those taillamps that look a little bit more modern because they have a new LED signature right in there. Again, also with this new IQ light brand design. This one is, by the way, the SEL trim. We also have a little other trims and colors here on location showing you very soon. This one also the one with V6. We soon get into the details about the engines. And you can see here there's also a towing hook available. So if you want to do that, and that one especially then would speak for the V6. Of course, there are also smaller engines available. And the only thing is, this fake exhaust style here, that's not my type of thing. Is it yours? So what about engines? You either get a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine with 238 horsepower, or this one here, the 3.6-liter V6 with 280 horsepower, the stronger one. That one then suitable for 2.3 tons of towing capacity. So that would be your choice if you want to have a trailer or just a little bit more power under the hood. And now some more colors for you. There's also the SEL trim, but here in the gray. It's not entirely matte, but also not super shiny. We also know this color, for example, from a Golf GTI, Golf R, as well also from Audi and so on. This color has been used all over the Volkswagen AG, and I think it does also fit to the Atlas Cross Sport. Does it? Or what about white, which again proves my point that especially bigger cars look always even bigger in white than they do with darker colors. And there's also a lighter blue available, for example. This one is the SE trim, so not SEL. But I mean, it's really hard to pick on the differences. The color makes all the difference, at first sight, definitely. But here we also see later on at our interior part that there's also a little bit, different seats, for example. We'll also take a look at those. Well, the door closing sound is nicer when the windows are up. However, a lot of cars here on the motor shows have the windows down. Maybe people don't lock themselves on the inside or something, I don't know. But still, considering the windows down, quite solid still from the door closing sound. Then there's soft touch here at the top, but not really very soft, but also not hard. Inlets here a little bit blue tone, then some leatherette cover right there. Also the inside of the doors, standard Volkswagen buttons that you get along, pretty well and also easy when you know the Volkswagen cars. Then there's a new steering wheel that is exclusively now for the Atlas Cross Sport with the new VW logo as well, this retro style logo, and the steering wheel looks more modern than before. You can also get digital instruments, as you can see right there with the screen just behind the steering wheel. Those all digital instruments where you can, for example, follow some GPS commands as well. This we're in the SEL trim, as I said earlier. The seats actually quite wide. In this case, the animal skin variant, but there are also other non-animal skin options depending on the trim, of course. And let me get inside. The moment the seat was put way in the front, I'm not sure who was sitting here. And the thing is, you realize the seat is really very wide. It offers you a lot of space, even if you are not very small or something. So that's pretty cool. And you sit upright. It's seating-wise almost feeling like in the Volkswagen Touareg. It's just a difference that it's like more than double the price. So this one is then quite attractive still price-wise. Manual control here as for the steering wheel. And I think this new style here, they've been introducing that with their smallest SUV, with the T-Cross the first time, like in this angular design right there. And that actually looks quite cool. There is a panoramic roof available. With 1.86 meters or 6'1", there's still some headroom left right there, and you have so much space in the front. That's really nice. It's also like a leatherette design for the top dashboard, which is also soft touch. So, could very well imagine going a long journey here. Yes, it doesn't have like a super premium approach. For example, here there are a lot of hardpack materials in the lower part and so on. But then again, consider the price, and I think then it's actually quite okay. Interior overview, here with a rather straight design, and everything is pretty simple and easy to use. This is a very straightforward car. And you can see here the climate unit is still somewhat manual, so easy to control it while driving. Automatic gearbox right there, adaptive cup holders. Here I've already put in the Apple CarPlay connection. Android Auto is also possible. Soon more details to that screen. So pretty modern infotainment system, not the most fancy one, but I like to have still the buttons here for the audio and also here for zooming in and out the map. It's also, has also an advantage. And again, the virtual instruments here on the left side and a pretty compact steering wheel. I like, again, the new design. Cubby hole right here, but this is maybe a little bit too open. I don't know. It's also a massive glove box right there. So, again, definitely simpler than most of the other interiors we've seen on the motor show. But I think that's also somewhat customer oriented when you don't make it too complicated. Or what's your take on that? And now, close up right here, the CarPlay integration uses all of the screen. And then we go back to the VW menu, and there's, for example, a GPS hotkey here for Los Angeles. There we go. Depends on your connection and also how responsive it is or not. But also, again, pretty straightforward, easy to see. One thing is, the left side is not on yet, but it seems to be that here also we can either see it on the left side or then again on the other side, that we can switch it around, because at the moment here the map is not being displayed. So that's one of the weak points with the infotainment system, that are not that good in the processing power. You can still connect your phone via Bluetooth, that would also be possible. And there's also the car menu where you have like a consumption overview, for example, or here's some vehicle status, whatever you want to need. Lower middle console, pretty wide again, 2 USB-A slots in the front. That's also where I connect the smartphone. And then here those adaptive cup holders again up close. Driving modes that adapt also for off-road driving, for the all-wheel drive distribution, for example. This one here, a front-wheel driven platform, so it will always be front plus rear on demand when you have all-wheel drive. And then this armrest here, leatherette, and what a huge middle console. It's more like like American pickup style as for the width, and another USB supply in there. And even more interesting about this vehicle is, of course, the rear area. And this is the seat as I would be driving. And there is ample of legroom left here. This is really amazing, and it's by no means the longest car, but this one here has a quite good package. It's using all the space it has. It's also a advantage that you don't have such a long front hood because of the front wheel driven platform. So that's really good, and also how wide it is here even, and very, very comfortable upright back seats. You can also, when you want to flip those, you can adjust it. It goes a little bit forward, and also the angle goes a little bit steeper. You can also lean backward, then you have a rather, sleeping position, but that's also the same mechanism. Then you fold the seats flat all together. Here, middle armrest with some cup holders, non-adaptive actually. And in the middle part, you have optional seat heating. You have 2 more USB supplies in the lower area, for example, 115 volt supply in this case done here. And when I go to the middle position here, there's not a high middle tunnel, and it's actually quite cozy. One of the very rare cars where it's actually quite good to sit in the middle seat here with a panoramic roof inside. Headroom is, when I move to the back part in the side again, headroom also still okay, 1m86 or 6'1", just remember. And then when I use this lever here, ultimately I can put the seat all the way front. You see here the lower part goes down, the upper part goes above that we have a good, actually good leveling to the rear. And we'll soon take a look how it looks like from the trunk. So what about the trunk right here? Wow, those are really square dimensions, and I've already flipped one of the seat half. You cannot do it from here, you have to do it from the rear, but you can see here one is up, the other 2/3 is down, and there's really massive amounts of space. Pretty cool. Here's a replacement tire, and also the sound system on the inside. And the only thing, where you're a little bit limited if you compare it to the original Atlas is here the height right to the rear part, but for most of the stuff you load in, you can definitely live with that. And what's interesting, what about the child safety test? Whoa, this has some serious torque from the electric motors, definitely too much. I think this is not safe. So now another interior here, the SE trim, and I think this is quite cool here in this wood look. Also feels quite nice. And then the bright interior to that's pretty cool, especially the blue exterior color, and then also different seats. Actually, this one is the leatherette, so the animal-friendly version. And how do you see that? The real animal seats, they have like more segments here design-wise, and this one, the leatherette seat, has less segments. That's how you can see it from the outside, and it's available in black and also in beige, like here, and it brings also more brightness to the interior. And this, of course, also then the better priced performance choice. Interesting to see that. So it's pretty cool that they also put a lower spec car on location here actually. So not all manufacturers are actually doing that. So, and the seating comfort is actually, pretty much comparable. So that doesn't make too much of a difference. And what else is interesting? Here, for example, we also have the analog instruments, not the full digital ones. But you can also just easily live with that. It's not properly lit up here at the moment, but we can also give you one more close-up of that. We also have this fake wood inlet right there, but again, it looks actually quite decent, so why not going for that one? And now to our conclusion for the day with the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Well, it's not too different from the Volkswagen Atlas, but the exterior design definitely freshens it up a little bit. The Atlas looks, let's say, a little bit bulky in comparison to this one, so more elegant, sportier, and I think it works very, very well. So it's not a small car, it offers really decent space on the interior, but with the Cross Sport version, it looks somehow better, I think. Quite often I don't like those SUV coupes, but here it's not like a round egg shape. I think it really found a good design language right there. And the space you have on the interior in general is absolutely great here. It's a very good package, especially how much room you have on the rear seats. That's amazing. Then some updates there in the front if you compare it to the original Atlas, like with the new steering wheel. And it's very, very straightforward how you can control everything, like with the old school climate units, but it doesn't have to be super, super fancy everywhere and everything, hidden into an infotainment screen. So very straightforward car, and that's also what I prefer, with this car. Then, again, the price performance. Hardly any other car at this size has such a good price performance, actually, That's probably the most interesting thing about this one. The only compromise, I mean, headroom in the rear is totally fine, like with normal Atlas. The only compromise that you lose a little bit of height in trunk in the back area. I think you can also easily live with that. So, what's your take on that one? Please leave me your comments to the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. And also tune into our Atlas driving review. And I hope we will be able to drive this one here also in the US very soon. See you there. And of course at other motor show parts here from today.